Hey everyone, Mike here from MLive&apos, joined by Justin Rogers. We have a game to talk about, which is kind of nice, a real game that counts.
They are playing football this week.
So I hear. Lions playing the Chargers. What matchup in that game are you most looking forward to watching?
I think San Diego's cornerbacks are really interesting. Brandon Flowers, Jason Verrett, two guys under 5'10", extremely athletic, good playmakers, good ball skills, going against arguably the best 1-2 receiver tandem in the NFL in Golden Tate and Calvin Johnson. So I just want to see how that plays out. I think Matthew Stafford's had a great preseason. I think he's going to have an excellent regular season. And this is a great first challenge.
I totally agree. And I think, first of all, I think the Chargers' defensive backs and the corners are very good. I mean, we've seen that before. But I'm curious in the size matchup, too, between those guys and someone like Calvin Johnson, who's a freak at 6'5". I mean, it's going to be kind of like a jackpot scenario, I think, in some regard. In some regard. And obviously, Golden Tate can play some football, too. And then you got Eric Ebron down the seam. I mean, I think it'll be an interesting game if DeAndre Levy doesn't play. Which he's not expected to, but I think the Lions' offense will have a very good game, and I think they'll have, they're going to have some tricks up their sleeves and so forth, but I think it's a very good matchup for the Lions' passing attack versus what San Diego has defensively. That bleeds into my point. The matchup I'm watching is DeAndre Levy, or the lack thereof, in the linebacking core versus Phillip Rivers. Very good quarterback, knows how to get it done, been around the league a long time, and we saw in the preseason when the Lions starting linebackers weren't out there, they struggled against the pass, particularly the intermediate routes. And DeAndre Levy is one of the best 4-3 outside linebackers against the pass. He covers so much territory. We saw the 6 interceptions a couple of years ago. That's a nice, easy stat to throw out there. But the fact is that he's just very good at sticking with the receivers, breaking up passes, making things difficult on a quarterback. And Josh Bynes, his replacement, doesn't provide that same kind of ability against the pass.
In that contest against the Jaguars, where they got eaten live over the middle, Travis Lewis had a really rough day. I think Stephen Tulloch had an uncharacteristically rough day there as well. I don't expect Travis Lewis to be out there in this game. I think it's going to be Tahir Whitehead. I think he's adequate in coverage.
On the strong side.
I think you're also going to see a lot of nickel. And right now, San Diego's the Spurs.
That would be interesting.
Not playing the Spurs. San Diego's tight end situation is a little messy. Antonio Gates obviously is suspended for 4 games. The backup Green right now is in concussion protocol. I don't know where he's at this stage, but he did not practice yesterday. I'm not sure whether he practiced today, but if he doesn't play, I don't even know who the 3rd tight end is on their depth chart.
I'm not sure they do.
It might. It's probably better than the Jacksonville's 5th tight end, who still had success against the Lions defense. But if Green is out with Gates as well, then that's a blow in the Lions' favor.
Right, yeah, and it helps the Lions with the uncertainty they have at the linebacker position, and also breaking in two new defensive tackles. I mean, that front 7 is there's some movement there. There's always some weirdness, I think, in the first week of the season as everyone's at full speed for the first time. Jim Caldwell said this week you learn a lot about your team in that first game because preseason games, maybe you can learn something, but it's just not the same. It's not a live environment. Now you've got 2 new defensive tackles out there for the first time. I think you're going to see Josh Bynes instead of DeAndre Levy. You'll see Stephen Tulloch back in the middle for the first time since week 3 of last year. So you'll see some weirdness, I think, going on. Lions just have to stick with it, though. It's Rivers. At least keep the plays in front of them and avoid the big play, something they were very good at last year.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that defensive tackle rotation is going to sort out. I don't know how they're going to use Nada because, well, we haven't seen Nada. But San Diego's got a messy interior line situation. 3 new guys, Orlando Franklin, they picked up from Denver, very good left guard. Their right guard was their right tackle last year, struggled terribly in the preseason. They've got a 3rd-round draft pick at center. That's a pretty nice combination for Walker and Nada to see in their first game. I think they could take some advantage there. It's an area also I think we'll both be watching.
Yeah, some interesting things to watch. Certainly that defense will be a challenge in some of the makeover and turnover there.
Sure.
But I think I like the matchup a lot for the Lions offense versus the Chargers defense, particularly the secondary. A couple of things we're keeping our eye on this week. For Justin Rogers, I'm Meinke. We are MLive. Keep it right here.